Hello guys, welcome to another coaster list. Sorry that I have not made a video in a long time. My laptop has just not been working well, but I am going to be back here with another video today. So today I'm going to be counting down the top 9 coasters that I have ridden by Aerodynamics, which is a manufacturer that no longer exists, but it would be awesome to count down my 9 favorite coasters I've ridden by Aerodynamics. So they've made a bunch of different coasters. They've made mine trains, they've made custom loopers, and they've made other amazing rides. I have done 4 mine trains, 4 aero loopers, and another indoor roller coaster. So yeah, so this is going to be my full list. So let's get started here. Coming at number 9 is going to be Trailblazer at Hershey Park, which, I mean, this coaster of the mine trains, I definitely think it's the weakest. I don't really have much problems with it. I mean, it's a childhood classic for me. I rode it when I was 4 years old, like for the first time. And when I went back in Hershey Park in 2018, I was like, yeah, it didn't do anything for me. So yeah, it doesn't really do anything for you, but I mean, it's a good classic. If you're like into more mild thrills, it definitely is a classic. But of the mine trains, I mean, there's only like 1 lift hill. Mine trains are supposed to have more than that. I mean, I don't know. I just thought Trailblazer was kind of weak, for a mine train. But I mean, it wasn't really that rough. It was just, yeah. And that's one thing with aero coasters I will mention, is that they can be a bit rough. But we'll get to that later. So coming at number 8 is going to be the Carolina Gold Rusher at Carowinds. I don't know what I'm saying here. But yeah, this ride, well, I rode it in 2016 for the first time. I really didn't think the ride was that bad. Then I rode it again in 2019. I'm just like, ouch, yeah, that sucks. But yeah, the coaster, when I rode 2019 versus 2016, it felt super shaky and rough. And like, this is an aero mine train, for goodness sake. How is it really that bad? I don't know, it was a little confusing. But, I mean, the coaster, it was still fun for what it had. But also, when we were like in the ride, I wonder if part of it was just because I was kind of in a bad mood. At that point, it's because the dispatches were so slow and I could barely fit in the car. I mean, I'm 5'11", and I can't barely fit in the car. Like, really? You have one job. But the ride, I mean, I don't know. It was not my favorite ride at Carowinds. It was not one of my favorite mine trains out there. But I mean, I get for what it does at Carowinds. I get it's a classic, but I mean, there's just some better rides out there. So let's move on to our number 7 spot, which is going to be the DeLonghi Mine Train at Six Flags Over Georgia. Now, I have not ridden this coaster since 2017, but I definitely kind of remember my experience of it. I remember it having some good parts and not so good parts. Some of the parts I'm just kind of like those coaster sections. The first couple, they're just kind of like, really? But it does end with a bang though. So what happens is you go into like some tunnel and then into a drop, or I don't know, there's some shed, and then you go down a drop into a tunnel. I thought that was pretty cool, but the ride is just kind of shaky. I mean, it wasn't that bad, actually. I don't know. It was a long time since I've done the DeLonghi Mine Train. One of these days I want to go back to Six Flags Over Georgia and ride it again, just for gold time's sake, but I don't know. I mean, I also rode in the front row, so I didn't get all the whip. But I don't know. I mean, it wasn't my favorite ride out there, but it was still fun. So now we're going to our number 6 coaster by Aero, and this is the first Aero custom looper on here. This is going to be Anaconda at Kings Dominion. Now, I did not find this ride to be that bad. I know some people hate this coaster. I didn't hate it. I thought it was not bad. I mean, yeah, there were some parts I wasn't a fan of. Like, I was not a fan of the pacing towards the second half. That was just terrible. And some of the parts of the ride were pretty rough. I mean, like some of the turns just kind of banged your head out a little bit. I mean, it wasn't unbearably rough. I'm going to say that. A lot of people call this ride painful. I thought it was far from painful. I mean, yeah, some parts of it were a little, like, bruise-worthy. I don't know. But I do love the setting in Anaconda. I love how it's over the water. And that's really cool. And it has a pretty cool underwater tunnel as well. So I'll give that for Anaconda. But I mean, it's just not my favorite ride out there. I mean, there's some better coasters out there, especially from Aerodynamics. So, all in all, Anaconda, not the worst coaster out there, but not the best. So, going to our number 5 spot is going to be the final mine train on here. And this is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This ride, I mean, this is just a straight up classic. This is a mine train that's actually really fun. Now, I haven't ridden this coaster since 2018, but this ride is it's a lot of fun. I mean, this coaster does have some nice airtime, and it definitely kind of tells a story. I mean, the theme is incredible. I mean, it's Disney. What are we talking about here? But I do love the theming, and the coaster, I mean, it's just really fun. I mean, 3 lift hills, and this is a great coaster just for the families. This is a very famous roller coaster, and yeah, just Thunder Mountain, it's just a lot of fun. Plus, it's actually pretty smooth. A lot of people call Thunder Mountain rocky, and I don't find it to be rocky for some weird reason. I mean, if it is, then maybe that's the purpose of it, but I don't know. I mean, I really like Thunder Mountain. I think it's a very fun ride. And now we're at the number 4 spot, which is going to be another custom looper, which is going to be Carolina Cyclone at Carowinds. I don't think this ride's that bad, really. I rode it for the first time when I rode in 2016. I thought it was okay. I thought it was kind of rough, but I rode it again in 2019. I'm like, wow, that was actually not too bad. Yeah, because like it was just, I mean, parts of the ride were actually kind of intense. I'm not gonna lie. Like the double loop was pretty forceful, and then also after the double corkscrew, we actually go into a helix, which is pretty forceful, I have to say. So you do pull some decent forces on Carolina Cyclone. And that kind of caught me off guard when I rode it again in 2019. And it's really not that rough for an arrow, so yeah. But I mean, the reason why it's in this spot is just because it kind of has a stair layout. I mean, you got your double loop, your double corkscrew, but I do like how there's a helix at the end, so can't complain about that. Now let's go into our top 3. And coming into number 3 spot is going to be a classic. This is Space Mountain. This roller coaster is so much fun. I mean, it's not the greatest ride ever, but it's just such a fun ride because 1, it's in the dark, yay, and then 2, I mean, the coaster does have some nice airtime moments to it as well. I mean, I do like how it also feels like you're going really fast. I mean, the weird thing is that the coaster hits 27 miles per hour, which is its max speed, which is literally nothing. That's how fast some of these kiddie coasters go, and it feels like you're going faster than that. Like the way Disney did that is spectacular, and it's just a fun ride just to talk about. I mean, it's well known in the community as a whole, and the GP know it really well. And yeah, Space Mountain, I mean, if you're not into like rides that are in the dark, I mean, this won't be your cup of tea. But if you like coasters that are in the dark, if you like indoor roller coasters, then hey, this is a good one for you. You're definitely bound to like this coaster. I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people that I know who think Space Mountain is the best ride at Walt Disney World or best coaster. Look at Hunter. He thinks Space Mountain is the best coaster at Walt Disney World. And I can respect that, I agree with, and I have a lot of other friends who think Space Mountain is the best coaster at Walt Disney World. Me personally, it's not my favorite at Walt Disney World, but it is definitely one of my favorite coasters at Walt Disney World. And that's why it's taken the number 3 spot in my Aero Coasters ranking video. Alright, now we're at the top 2, and these next 2 are really fun. I absolutely like these rides. Coming in the number 2 spot is going to be Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. This roller coaster, when I first rode in 2016, I absolutely loved this ride. I thought it was, some weird reason, I don't know why, I thought it was extremely smooth. And then, I don't know, I mean, it was my first aero looper, so I mean, I wasn't really much of an enthusiast at that point where I rode in 2016. It was before this channel existed. And a coaster just blew me away for some reason, I don't know. But I mean, then when I rode it again in 2018, I will admit, I was kind of disappointed by it. But that was because I was like more GP then in 2016. And my preferences, it kind of changed in 2019. So it was great getting to ride in a new perspective. But I mean, Loch Ness Monster, I mean, it's still a really fun ride. Sure, the layout is not the strongest. I get that. But the way that it uses the terrain to its advantage is impressive. I mean, the coaster sits at a height of 130 feet. That's a really big drop. We actually go down and get close to the Rhine River, which is really cool. And plus, it is a true classic. I mean, it's been operating for a little over 40 years. So yeah, I think complain there. And plus, it's got those 2 iconic interlocking loops, which are an icon, by the way. They're the only interlocking loops left in the country, or in the world, actually. Never mind. The only interlocking loops left in the world. So yeah, pretty cool there. And it's got a pretty sweet tunnel thrown in as well. And the coaster as a whole is just really enjoyable, Some people kind of don't really like this one that much. I think it's fun, Yeah, it's not the greatest ride out there. And of the major coasters at Busch Gardens, Virginia, I call it the weakest. But it's still a fun ride, and you can't complain about a ride on Loch Ness Monster. Alright, now we're at the number 1 coaster. And coming at number 1 is actually one of my favorite coasters of all time. Taking the number 1 spot is going to be Tennessee Tornado at Dollywood. And I just gotta say, whoa! This coaster blew me away. I mean, yeah, people don't really talk about aero coasters as whoa! But this is different. Tennessee Tornado is just an incredible experience. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like my number one coaster at Dollywood, but I just love this thing. Yeah, it's a very short ride, but I mean, it's one of those rides that's just short but sweet. Like, of course, it's just, of course, you got that tunnel, which is just already mind blowing. Just how they did that, worked with that tunnel, and then the inversions are just very intense. Like, the whole ride is super intense, and it is very smooth too. I think it's the smoothest aero out there. I definitely think it's got a ton of G-force. I mean, for some weird reason, call me crazy, I think that's more intense than Lightning Rod, like G-force wise. I mean, I know Lightning Rod's way more aggressive by far, but G-force wise, Tennessee Tornado, I think you feel more in it for some weird reason. I don't know. But yeah, also just Tennessee Tornado, I don't know. It's just an amazing ride. I think it is one of the most underrated roller coasters out there. People just don't give it enough credit. And it's just, Tennessee Tornado is just an amazing ride. And I think of the aero coasters that I've done so far, that is the best one. And that is the end of this list. Now, there are some coasters that I have not ridden yet. Like, I have not been over to Six Flags Magic Mountain to ride X2. I have not been to Sierra Point to ride Magnum XL 200. So yeah, there's plenty of other aero coasters that are very noteworthy that I have not gotten to ride yet. But one of these days, I'll get to them. So that's going to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash the like button below. Also, if you like this content, feel free to subscribe for more videos in the future. Also, don't forget to check out Theme Park Guy Productions on Instagram for more updates and content. And I'll see you guys next time and have a theme-tacular day.